Hi guys, in this series, we are going to talk about UI widgets. If we have to design a UI, irrespective of the technology, whether it is HTML or JSP or PHP or ASP or Outsystems or Mendix, if we have to design a UI behind the screen, we use HTML. If we are creating a JSP page as well, we use HTML tag to design the components on the UI. Components in the sense, or tag in the sense, input fields, button, radio button, drop down, button group, right? And search box, something like that. So if we have to design that, will require in HTML. Outsystems also render the UI widgets in a form of HTML behind the screen. So in this particular lecture, we will see how we can use input widget, button widget, and message or alert widget. So let me show you first what I mean by input widget. This is the Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a CSS framework. I just opened this website to showcase you what is the input widget. So this is the input widget, password, or this is the password widget. For example, this is default input. So if we have to design or create an input widget in a HTML page, we will require this tag, input tag. In Outsystems, we have the widgets available. We just drag and drop the widget to the screen, and behind the screen, it creates this input tag only. If we have to create button, this is my button. For button, we will require this input type submit or input type button. We'll require to play with classes. So button is also an input in Bootstrap, but we can also use the button tag to design a button in HTML. So if we have to design something similar, we have to give a text box and a button, and on button click, if we have to show something whatever user has input in the text box, we will require to design the screen, and to design that we will require to drag and drop the widgets. Let me show you. For this, let me create a new application. I have already shown you how we can create a new application. I will create from scratch. I will create a reactive application, give a proper name. We'll give the name demo application. Demo application. We'll select a proper theme color and we'll create the application. We'll give the same name to the module and create the reactive web application module, and we'll click on create module. What we need to do, we need to create a screen like this. We'll just show one text field, not this password one. That will be the text field, not the password field. A text field and one button. On button click, we will just show on button click we will just show the text whatever user has provided in this field in a form of message alert. So we have the if we have to show something in a form of alert, we have alert tag as well in HTML. This is the alert. So we can show in a form of a pop-up message or pop-over message like that. So we'll see how we can do that in Outsystems. So let's go back to the Outsystem. This is my Outsystem Service Studio. First, I will create a screen. So right click to the main flow and add a screen. We'll give just a name. We'll give a name widgets. We'll click on include in menu, so that automatically Outsystem will include this particular screen to the menu. We have something with the name widgets available. That's why it has automatically adopted the widget too. This is my template, default template. So let me just give a title, widget examples. Here I can just provide an action. If I am designing a proper screen, for example, if I am designing the list screen, we can provide the text search box here, right? Search box here. So what we need to do, we need to provide a text field, one button, and user will provide something, input something on the text field. Once user will click on button, we'll show a message, and inside the message will show whatever user has provided. So to draw the text field or text input, we have the input widget. This is the widget toolbox. We have a lot of widgets available. Almost all 99% of HTML tags are available here. If we don't have anything, we have the HTML element. So we can customize the HTML tag using this particular widget. So we also call this everything as a widget. ABC, a text widget, expression widget, table widget, list item, form widget, input widget. Form widget in the sense we can just create a form, and inside this form we can place the inputs and button and other things, so that OutSystem will get to know that these fields are under form, so that we will be able to perform the auto validation. We will able to write that, right? OutSystem will automatically handle that validation. We will talk about that as well in this tutorial. Switch, radio button, checkbox, drop down, upload, button group, link, pop over menu, icon, image, pop up, block, HTML. We have a lot of these are simple widgets. We have advanced widget as well, bar chart. Just we drag and drop and provide proper value, automatically it will render the bar chart. So for this particular example, I will just drag and drop the input. This is the one way. Control Z, let me control Z, and let me show you the another way. We can right click here and insert a widget as well. So some of the common or basic widgets it gives in this list. So we need to select the HTML input. Control that. We have one more way available. Earlier we were in the element tab. We can go to widget tree. This widget tree is we can say a document object model representation of our UI. What is the document object model representation? This is not exact DOM representation, but somehow similar to that. This is my HTML page, right? The global, the HTML page on internet I have just opened. If you right click and if you do the inspect element, you will see the elements here. You see, we have a body, then under we have a div, then under that we have a container, then we have one anchor tag here. Similarly, if we have to see the same in OutSystem application, we have the widget tree. This is the skeleton in simple language. You can say this is the skeleton of UI, and the complete layout. And inside layout, we have a header section. This is the header section. Under that, we have just introduced the menu. This is the web block. We'll talk about that as well. What is the web block? Web block is a reusable UI component. We will see what it is. Under the breadcrumb, we can just add the breadcrumb. Under the title, we have added one. So we can add some more things as well. This is the action. We are not adding anything here. This is the main content. In this area, we will write our main business logic. We'll design our main screens that will be associated to business logic. Sorry. We can right click here as well, and we can insert. We can first insert the container. Inside this container, we can insert the input. So by default, when we insert any widget, it adopts the 100% width of the screen. This is the screen. This is how this design will look like in actual when we will publish and see in the via hitting the URL. So by default, the CSS is written in a way that it divide the screen in 12 columns. That we can say the grid system. That is also adopted from Bootstrap. Let me just show you what is the grid system. So you see this column 1, column 2, column 3. So by default, OutSystems and the Bootstrap as well divide this whole screen in 12 column, so that instead of defining the width in a form of pixels, we can define in a form of columns. Let me show you somewhere. Let me just show you. Yeah. No. Let me just show you once more. You see, call auto, call auto, call 1, call 2, call 10. This is the class what we are introducing here, and automatically out this Bootstrap will handle and will show this particular input and in the column 10. So it means it will adopt the 10 column width, so that when we will open this screen or in mobile screen or mobile device or the tablet device or a big TV television or a small computer 14-inch device or 15-inch device or 18-inch device. I'm sorry guys, automatically it will adopt the proper width. If we'll define the width in pixels, you can see that if we are defining a width in pixel, for example 100 pixel, so 100 pixel will be like this, but in big TV screen it will be tiny one, right? So this is the grid system that provide or that enforce a responsiveness in our design. So by default, when we introduce anything, automatically it adopts the 12 column width. If we want to change the width, we can just click here and we can drag. You see 10 column, 8 column, 9 column, 12 column, 2 column, 3 column, whatever we want to do. There is one more way. We can control Z. We can click here. We can go to input. We have a property section. We have a style section. Under style section, we have a width. Currently, it is fill. Fill in the sense fill to the 100%. We can just select 2 column, 3 column, whatever we want. That's it. Let me introduce a button as well. Automatically, button adopts specific width only. If we click to the button, this is the button widget. I am under widget tree, and go to button. This is the button text. We can just change the name. It will be show message or show value. Now we have two errors. You see the two errors. We can see the errors here. Variable must be set. If I double click, it will automatically redirect me to the error. What is the error? Error belongs to this text input. We have a variable attribute, we have a variable property which should be defined. It means we should provide a variable that will hold the value what user will insert. So we will require to create a variable under the screen. So right click to the screen and add a variable. We have two type of variable, add input variable and input parameter and local variable. If we have to pass something to this screen while calling from the link or from anywhere, we can introduce the input parameter. We will see this as well. Let me add a local variable and user text. I will just give the name user text. Outsystem is a smart enough that is why automatically it just adopt the proper data type when we type something. So I typed user. So Outsystem understands that I am talking about the user entity. That's why it has adopted the user entity type of data. But I want text type of data. I was bit slow in writing, right? If you'll write fast, Outsystem will be confused and it will just select the text one. So you will have to select the proper data type. For this particular scenario, we need to define this user text as a text data type because user will provide a text value. I will click here and under the variable, I will select the user text. So that whatever user will provide here, automatically that will be binded to user text. This is called dynamic binding. We know we don't need to assign something in Java, in .NET, in PHP, in C, C++. We assign, right? Where var or string a is equal to the value what we assign, or we initialize with the blank value. Due to this dynamic binding feature, we no need to initialize this. Automatically, it binds. This is not Outsystem feature. This is the JavaScript, advanced JavaScript feature introduced with Angular, I guess. In Angular, we have the dynamic binding. So it will automatically bind with user text. We still have one more error, that is on click must be set. This is the button and we have a mandatory property on click. We will require to define, right, what would happen when we'll click to this button. So we'll have to handle that. We can just drag and drop and we can see the options. Sorry, not drag and drop. We can just expand and we can see the options. We can go to the current screen. It means we can refresh to the same screen on click of this particular button. We can go to another screen. We have the screen invalid permission login available under this module. We can go to previous screen. We can go to external URL, that may be google.com, facebook.com, whatever. We can all a client action as well. We don't have any client action under this widget. That's why it is not showing anything in the suggestion, but we can create a new. If I will click here, it will create a new client action that will automatically, it will adopt the name as well, show value on click, right? So all set, error has gone. That's why we can see that this is the publish button is available. We can now publish. But before that, we'll have to write our business logic. What is our business logic? On this click, just show whatever user has input here. So we'll have to write that logic here. Now you see the widget toolbox is changed. This widget belongs to the client action. We can define a message. We can show a message. We can run a server action, we can run a client action, we can refresh data, we can use if, else, switch, for each assignment. We can assign something from one variable to another variable. We can deal with JSON serialization and deserialization. We can handle the exception, raise the exception. We can just write a comment. We can destinate. Using the destination, we can go to another screen from here. Instead of and, we can just destinate to another screen. Sometime we will require to use that. We can use the download widget to download the file. We will see this all these things. We can write an inline JavaScript using this. We'll see. For now, we need to just show the message. If you see the property of message, we'll require to give a message. Message will be our user text. What user is provided. If we have to customize this, double click to this message, it will open the expression editor. This is called the expression editor. We can write the custom expression here as well. So I can write a custom expression that the user's message is and plus. This is the concatenation operator. So it will concatenate. That's it. You see, we have some things in scope. We will see this as well in this tutorial. Don't worry about that. That's it. Once we will click here, it will just show the message. Let me publish. When I click the publish button, it is publishing. It is just storing a new version. You will not see this message because I have deleted some dependencies. So don't worry about that. Kindly excuse me for this. You will not see this message in your case if you have installed the Outsystems recently. So when we publish, it just store a new version to the environment. Um, what you have configured, what you got after signing up to Outsystems, and to what URL, what environment you have connected. So I am connected to this environment. It will store a new version here. As I already said, there is nothing local in Outsystems. Everything we store in the server. Everything gets stored in the server. It generates and compiles the optimized code and database script. What does it mean, optimized code? It optimizes this code and convert in a form of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and .NET code, C sharp code. So if we have a business logic, then there's business logic that gets converted in the C sharp and updating database and model and deploying the web application. Meanwhile, it is publishing. Let me talk about the properties of input. The name is the name, variable is the variable what we have defined under which the value will be assigned. Prompt, we will talk about this. This is too early to talk about this. Input type, text. We can have other type as well. Password, number. You see, let me show you here. This input type is password, right? So we are talking about this type here. Type is text. Similarly, we can have type, number, and all. Maximum length 50. Only 50 character will be allowed. Whatever we can give. Mandatory. If it is mandatory, true. It means under, if we are using this under the form widget, we will require to fill any value in this particular input. Without that, we will not be able to proceed. Outsystem automatically perform the validation. Enabled, if it is true, it will be enabled. If it is false, it will be disabled. User will not be able to perform any operation. Style class in the sense this. We are applying some classes here, right? Similarly, if we have to apply the classes, we can just by one by one we can give. So currently the form control, you see here also form control class is applied. So if you want to apply more classes, we can apply more. Attribute. Attribute. Sometime here I don't see the attribute, but sometime we have to define the extra attribute. For example, data. Let me just show you. So sometime when we deal with JavaScript and the HTML, let me just zoom it. We have to define extra attribute. For example, data. Data is 1. Let's see, or it may be dynamic as well. So whenever we perform any action, we in the JavaScript we can just fetch what data belongs to this field. This is the custom attribute. Similarly, if we have to define any custom attribute on this HTML tags in the Outsystems, we have this. We can just define this. This is my custom attribute. This is the value. It can be dynamic as well. I can just open the expression editor, and it can be dynamic as well. From any variable we can derive, and we can define more attributes as well. On change, if we have to handle the on change event, in the sense, if anything change, or if we are writing, in the sense we are changing something, right? So whatever we will do, it will do on whenever the change will happen on this particular text field. Event, if we have to handle other events, for example, on blur, on click, on double click, on focus, on key down, on key up, we can define that event, and we can define the action, the handler. So whenever that event will be triggered, it will automatically call that handler. That's it. Let me publish once again, because we have made some changes, right? That's this data we have introduced. That's why it will require another publish if we have to, if we want to publish these changes. So let's wait. This video took a little bit long time because we talked about multiple things. In next video, we will just focus on the widget, right? About what we will be talking. Because we just jumped to the bootstrap, we have seen the HTML tag as well, right? Okay, it has published. Now we can directly click here to open in the browser, or we can just hit this URL as well, or we can just right click to the screen and we can open in browser. I will click here, so it will just redirect me to this URL directly, and it will open the screen what we have created. Let's see. Okay, it requires a login. Automatically, OutSystem creates this login screen for us, right? So it will require a login. This is my text field. I write my name and I click on show. It is showing user's message is Ankit. Whatever I write here, it will show me that, right? This is how we can use the input, button, and message. That's it for this lecture, guys. Thanks for watching.